Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and we are answering publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. I need a new intro. We have a question here from YouTube user Pamaroom, who asked us the somewhat salacious question: what if you walk in on two coworkers engaged in sexual activities of any kind? Is that sexual harassment for the employee who walked in on it? Oh, that is a good question. I'm gonna answer annoyingly that it's a little bit uncertain, and here's why. Presumably, we'll make an assumption here. We'll make the assumption that the two employees who were engaged in intimate activities were not intending to be caught, right? So at that point, it's a mistake, but they are being very, very work inappropriate, right? So intent goes a long way. I think a lot of attorneys might come down to me and just say, listen, it wasn't intentional. Now, if you walk in on them somewhere where they knew or should have known you could walk in on them, well, they're very careless. It could change things. If you add like a hypothetical fact, like one of the two people is someone who has control over you, like power over you, like a supervisor, someone in your chain of command, someone who has input on your promotions, your bonuses, your raises, whatever it is, that would also potentially be reflective that, there could be a claim here. Um, we're going to look at what does the employer do if and when you report this event, right? If you go to the employer and say, hey, this happened, does the employer take steps to keep you safe from walking in on people having sex or walking in on people engaged in sexual activities in the future, right? Like that is something the employer owes to you. There are many, many human beings who would walk in on that situation and feel very uncomfortable, intimidated, scared, appalled, right? And I say it like I think I'd be like, oop, that's awkward, and walk away if it was me, right? But also, it's not a requirement that people feel about things like I feel, right? There's going to be different human beings who feel different ways about this, and the depth of feeling, negative feeling, someone might potentially have, could be really, really substantial, right? There are people who are deeply religious who would feel that this was a horrible, horrible thing, and it would be very upsetting to them because it is laughing in the face of their faith, right? There are people who are the victims of rape, and this could be incredibly triggering for. There are people who have been molested who this could be incredibly triggering for. There are people who might just be really afraid that because they walked in on this, the two people they walked in on might be out to get them, right? Like, there's a lot of things that can go on there. So I think there's a million and one ways that could become a claim. I don't know that it's a claim on its face, but I can tell you if that case walked in my door, I would have 1,001 questions, right? I would be very concerned about how the person who walked in on it, which is the potential client in this hypothetical, I think, how they felt about it, what's going on, what's the context, right? Because that could harm certain people. It really could. And there's some measure of carelessness, like lock a door. If you're gonna do something like that, as work inappropriate as that is, well, for heaven's sake, lock the door. You're already making bad decisions. Let's make one good decision. Lock the door. Like, what are we doing here? So this is a bit of a non-answer, but I hope perhaps describing the thought process might have some value. Thank you for the question. I hope this was helpful. If it wasn't, I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to do better because my answer is it depends on context almost entirely. But there's something there, and that could certainly be a claim. If it was helpful, like and subscribe. Helps me to help more people just like you. Take care.